it doesn't matter what's in the way. It doesn't matter because you already see the end goal.
The obstacle is the way.
Bro, what's going on right now?
Let me get to my point.
So, like, clearly he's been a big part of my success at ASU, but...
Yoboseo Patrick Park.
What's up, Sean? How you doing?
So for the listeners, for the context, Pat, Sid, and I, we were Actually, no, Pat and I were teammates, and then I graduated, and then Sid and Pat were teammates. Real quick background on Pat. Pat is a 19.7 50 freestyler, 142 200 butterflyer, and NC2A All-American. Swam with both Dorsey, Tierney Walker, and Bob Bowman. Pat, thanks for being on the show.
Of course, man.
So we start every podcast with a question that the previous guest left for you, not knowing who you're going to be.
Okay.
So the question the last guest left for you is, who were the 3 people / groups that had the biggest impact on your life, and how did they influence your life?
3 people or groups?
Or groups. Like, for example, our previous guest, he said his parents and his friends, his big friend group.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with select people. And who was the last guest?
Santiago Grassi.
Well, Santi, really, really good question. I think the first one I gotta go with my older brother Peter. 6 years apart. This is the guy that every summer we would go to the local YMCA and we'll test out new technique, a certain flip turn, like the submerge turn, right? He's the one that taught me that. This YMCA didn't have a starting block. And so we would just learn how to go off the blocks off the little, side there.
Yeah.
And, he taught me fundamentally the technique behind swimming, just almost being like, what's that Bruce Lee, like be like water, right? He taught me a little bit more about that. So more so of a feel, but really Peter, not just swimming, but in life. Yesterday we had a meeting, a dinner meeting, and I asked him a couple, I go in for advice, period. Just simple, right? So anything in life, always go to Big Brother. So that's one. Number 2, I would say Dan Kessler.
Shout out Dan.
Yeah, Dan Kessler. I tell this to the ASU team, I swear, maybe every single year. They're probably sick of me now saying the...
Can we give context to who Dan is real quick?
Yeah, of course. Dan Kessler, for me, was the assistant coach at ASU. This is dating back to now 2012, 2013, when I was getting recruited. So back then, he called it the Shark Tank at Junior Nationals. This is in Irvine. And as soon as you walk out the double doors, these college coaches are just standing right there. That's why they called it the Shark Tank. They were just waiting for all these swimmers, the guppies, right? And so Dan was like, why don't we get out of the Shark Tank? Let's go for a walk, right? We go for a walk, and he basically said, hey, this is where ASU's at. We got cut as a program back in 2008. Within 1 to 2 years, we raised X amount of dollars and we came back, right? When that happens, you got to start all over. We're looking for foundation guys. I can't promise you Pac-12 titles. I can't promise you NCAA championships. But in your 4 years, I promise you, you will make a difference. That's a life motto, right? Hands down, is what can I do, whether in business or in life, coaching? Can I make a difference in your life, right? It's going to be positive. It's going to be a negative impact. I'm always going to lean towards positive, right? So Dan Kessler, number 2. What's really tough with number 3...
You can group people too.
Yeah, I might use that card. Because I was trying to go for 3 people, but once you kind of selectively go 3, it's really tough, right? So I would say teammates. Teammates as a whole, right? If anything, I'll go even broad. I'll cheat. Really just swimming, teammates, coaches. I was very fortunate to have really, really good coaches. Um, my age group coach, Lucy, who was a 6-time national champion in China, she said, "Hey, listen, you're not going to be a breaststroker." I was a breaststroker. I thought I was a breaststroker
Back in the day.
back in the day. She said, "You're going to be a flyer." She never told me "I told you so" until I broke the ASU school record in the 200 fly. She's like, "Yeah, so you're not a 200 flyer, right?" You're
So
not
she waited like 10 years to tell you this.
Exactly. So Lucy, Greg at Petty, that was the high school that I went to. He is, at this point, he's family, right? And so even if to this day, if I have any questions, business, life, I go to Greg. And then
Is he still at the Petty school?
he is. He's not coaching as much anymore.
Petty is a private high school in New Jersey. Boarding school?
Boarding school.
Boarding school.
Yeah, I was a day student, but boarding school. And then, fast forward, Dan, Bob, right? Bob had a big part of my success at ASU. And when I look at that, when I look at my teammates, I'm even my roommate back home in Scottsdale, Roman. He was my teammate in Jersey at Petty, right? And so I remember, Josh Lamb, right? He came back.
Wow. I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, Josh Lamb came back to Phoenix last year, and he hit me up. Or actually, I saw him. He was in town, and I called him, and he even admitted, it's like, "Hey, it's kind of surprising that you reached out. I've been kind of out of contact with ASU and just kind of Arizona in general." And I told him some very specific. I was like, it doesn't matter where you are. If you were my teammate, you are like a brother to me, right? The things that we went through together, training, life, it's something so incredibly big in our 4 years at ASU. But I go beyond that, right? I even went to our headquarters is in Baltimore, right?
Headquarters for
the MedTech job. And so I met with Corey and Anna Marshall. These are two girls that I swam with back in my XL days with Coach Lucy, right? It doesn't matter, right? Like, we shared that experience together. And that's why I do this massive umbrella of coaches, teammates. They shape me, man.
Yeah. So like teammates, basically, once you've swim with them, when you do something hard with a group of people, there's an undeniable bond that you create with teammates once you've, went through the mud together,
Yeah,
like
100%.
we went through some hard times in college together.
We just talked about that the other day during dinner.
What did we talk about?
We talked about going to the 30-cent Wednesday wings.
The wings. Yeah. Yeah. In college, there was this place called Native, and before inflation, you could get 30-cent wings, and we were doing some god awful set, and apparently I don't remember this, but Pat told me that all we could talk about was how we're gonna smash like 30 wings or something like that.
And we were so excited for practice to end, and unfortunately, that was one of the toughest sets of the year.
What was it? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I just remember the hurt.
Yeah.
I was in, but I just remember, hey, Sean, it's all good. We're going to get through this. We got the reward.
30-cent wings.
Yeah, we got 30-cent wings waiting for us. So it's all good. Just push through. But yeah, man, I know that was a long one, but to recap, that's, Peter,
teammates.
my brother, Dan Kessler. And it's funny, Dan Kessler was also my coach, right? But I still wrote that into number 3 with coaches, teammates.
Yeah. One of the reasons I wanted to get you on, Pat, was the other day I called you. I was studying attachment theory in the context of sports psychology. So attachment theory is kind of like how you interacted with your parents and how that shaped your upbringing, and you can have secure attachment, avoidant attachment, whatever. There's basically 4 types, and I was thinking, like, in the secure attachment, basically secure attachment people, like when the pressure is on, like they're able to perform. They like step up they step up when the lights shine brightest. They can step up and get it done. And I was like, okay, who do I know that's like that? And you're the first person that I thought of that was like, oh, whenever we needed a relay win, whenever we needed a dual meet win, it didn't matter if you were sick, it didn't matter if you were injured. You, for some reason, understood how to. I'm gonna say this kindly, but you were definitely a meet swimmer. You weren't a practice swimmer. And when right? Am I right?
Facts. Facts.
Am I wrong? But basically, when we needed it to count, you always knew how to step up, right? And so I wanted to know. Basically, we had like a 45-minute phone conversation about this. So I kind of want, and it was very interesting. So I kind of want to recreate that phone conversation that we had. But like, can you tell me what your relationship with your parents was like and how that affected your psychology as an athlete?
Yeah. I feel like you're going to have to cut me off on this one because there's so many different routes that I can go with. My relationship with my parents, good. First of all, good. Love them. They would do anything and everything for me. I'll do anything and everything for them. Now, again, I'm trying to think through how to best organize this. So I swear this is where Sid's going to come in and he might have to cut up the pieces.
Basically, like, did your parents give you a lot of pressure? Were they very loving to you? Were they very supportive of you? You told me like the relationship with your mom, it was like, it was her second go around because Peter was the first child, and she was actually very invested in like learning technique and this and that kind of helped shape your, basically like, you're very confident that your mom was always there to support you, right?
So your list that you said, all the above. The first thing that comes to mind is growing up, we didn't have options. So it was more so of, if this is what you want to do, make sure you go 100%, 110%, go way above and beyond and make it count. We just didn't have that option. Now, did we do sports? Yes. But it was, parents moved from South Korea that immigrated, late 80s, right? So, here's my little sad song, my little tiny violin. It's when that happens, period, you immigrate to a new country under the American dream, there's going to be humble beginnings, right? And so with that, we talked about that a whole ton the other day. And with that, it's okay, like you have this one thing, go for it. So was there added pressure? Sure. Was there understanding at 8, 9 years old that a college athletic scholarship was needed to get out of Jersey? Absolutely. Did I have to grow up a little bit faster than others? Yeah, 100%. But will I go back and change that because I had a little bit more pressure? Absolutely not. So let's go towards the loving, the support route. My mom, she did not miss a swim meet from, they actually had to lie about my age. Summer league, I think you have to be at least 6 years old. I was 4. So on that little piece of paper, like, mom have to
look at my big chubby kid. He's 6 years old. Sorry.
Well, I was tiny too, right?
Yeah.
And so they had to just lie and sit. 4, cross that out. 6, yeah. Right? And so, that's where it all began. And from 4 to 18, by the time I graduated, she did not miss a meet. Now, was that always working? Yeah, but he always tried to make it work and try to come over. So, if anything, it got to a point where, mom in Jersey, there's a Korean population in North New Jersey. And when all the Korean old ladies, in Korean it's called ajimas. When all the Korean ajimas kind of merge together, they socialize, they gossip, right, and whatnot. And so I was it was at Rutgers. I still remember this. And whenever I'm warming up, my mom and I, like, mom didn't grow up swimming. She did ping pong. She did track. Never swam. Loves the water though. Right. Like she used to make jokes whenever she lived in California. It's like, oh my God, I love Santa Monica because, once you catch the waves, sometimes the waves are so big that my bikini falls off. I'm like, Mom, like, I
Oma.
said, oh my, I don't want to hear that
Yeah.
shit. So,
That's how I met your appa.
right. And so that's Alma's sort of feel for the water. She just
Yeah.
loved kind of playing in the water on the beach. So that's kind of her background. For swim technique streamline, that was all taught through Peter. So that was the second round of it. So I had the luxury where if I looked at Alma in the stands during warm up, it's like I am looking for your feedback because there's that respect. I think certain times in this day and age, the parents should be a little bit removed from the athlete. I think I was the one-time exception.
I'm very curious to that because we work with a lot of kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not all, a majority of the kids don't respect their parents' opinion about anything. I'm wondering why you respected your mom so much.
Well, one, there was a direct success from Peter.
Track record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So there's one I could actively see as a kid, but two, like that's how we were raised. If mom, Peter, dad says something, it's because they truly care about you. Like listen, right? Just effing listen. That was kind of the family I grew up in. So think about it this way: mom is in the stands and she's up there and she has a vantage point of looking at your stroke in a completely different point of view. Of course, I'm going to listen to her. She's seeing things that I physically can't see. So going back to Rutgers University, I always start in lane 4. I was one of those guys that would always hop lanes and train with other teams or warm up with other lanes. And I'll look up and she's gossiping and just talking to the Korean ajumas. I'm like, and I do one of these. Like, Amma, what the hell are you doing? We're not here to socialize. We're here to, kick ass and take names.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Right. That was at 8, 9 years old. Right.
That's crazy. We don't see that competitiveness with kids very much.
Yeah.
That comes from Oma for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because at 8 years old, they're just kind of like doing what coach says, doing what mom says. They don't really have their own agency yet. They're just kind of like, right. But and I've seen this from you, and I want to go into more business stuff later, but like, you're very much like, this is what I want. This is how I'm going to do it. No matter even if I get a no, with payment processing, right? That we were just talking about. Even if you get a no, how can I keep pushing on that no and figure out how to make it a yes? Is that innate or is it coming from your parents?
I would say both. Yeah, I would say both. So it's what were we specifically talking about? Just overcoming obstacles, adversity, right? Yeah, both. Whether it's parents, whether it's situation, whether it's just my personal experiences in life, whether it's business or swimming, right? If there is an obstacle in your way, how are you going to react? It's always been push to the fucking wall, like push to the barriers. It doesn't matter like what's in your path, just keep going, right? Because if you truly want something, you have to just go after it and get it. It doesn't matter what's in the way. It doesn't matter because you already see the end goal.
The obstacle is the way.
Yeah, it's just part of the game.
I think about your parents a lot. I don't know why, because you're such a unique individual, Pat. I don't think like Pat, Sid and I talk about this. Like, Pat is a unique individual, and I think, not to diss you, but like physically speaking,
I'm massive.
You're a pretty normal dude, right? Like even when you're like elite shape, when you look at Patrick Park, it's just like this guy with like no tone, like no like muscles not that big, like normal height. just like a normal dude, but you swam outrageously fast.
Bro, what's going on right now?
Let me get to my point. My point is, I think that for people who are not like, obviously there are people who are physically extremely gifted, and that's what helps take them to an elite level of swimming. In your case, I don't think it was physical. I think it was all this.
Oh, yeah.
I think your brain is what got you a Division I swimming scholarship. I don't think it's okay, maybe there's you had more fast twitch fibers or whatever, right? But everyone has that. My point is, like, I think your mind is what got you to a Division I swimming level. Your mind is what got you to become an NCAA All-American. I don't think it's your physicality. And so I'm trying to think, okay, how do I recreate what Patrick's parents did, what his Appa and Oma did, and then apply it to my kids or apply it to the kids that we coach here, So if you were to say you have kids and you want to kind of recreate this, what kind of parenting style would you do?
Oh my God. Well, I'll give you a real life example with my nephews. 2 awesome nephews, Grayson and Jace. Grayson's the
older brother,
big bro. And I told this to Peter maybe a couple years back. I said, Peter, it's not like I want Grayson to break his arm and take his entire season out and go through physical therapy. And the very first at plate, he scores a home run. But I don't want him to break his arm. But maybe that's part of the story. So going back with my kids, future kids, I'm never going to wish them harm, but it's almost like I'm praying for their adversity.
Yeah.
Right?
You don't want an adversity-less kid.
No.
That's going to be the softest kid ever.
That's going to be the softest kid ever. Sometimes you got to get punched in the teeth, right? It's like, well, how are you going to react to it, right? Sometimes you got to scrape your knee a couple times.
So would you say that your parents, when you did face adversity, they didn't solve it for you? They just let you figure it out?
If anything, my mom would let me hear it, right? Alma would be like,
"You're being soft."
Kind of, right? Oh my God, I thought of a couple stories, Sean, and there's one in particular where I remember Peter was my coach that one year. It was 200 butterfly long course, and there was a guy that specifically Peter just did not vibe with, did not like. And Peter's the biggest teddy bear in the world. You've met him.
He's
right?
Awesome. He's a nice guy.
Something about this athlete, he was just like, man, it's just not a good guy, right? And to be honest, I gave up. It was a 200 fly long course. I was over it. I don't know why 200 butterflies, always the last day. I was, maybe 13 years old. And this kid was 14, and we did 100. I completely gave up the third 50. Now, there was some strategy to it because I thought, I'm going to run him down at the end. And that's eventually what happened.
That's not your
style. My style is fly and die.
Yeah.
Bob would always say, hey, Patrick was not a 200 flyer. He was a fake flyer where he could swim about a 150.
Yeah.
And then just survived the last 50.
You had a really good 150 butterfly.
Oh, yeah. And then it was vertical from there.
I remember watching you. I think it was an 800 free relay, and we were behind or something. Maybe it was Pac-12s. Maybe it was
Pac-12s.
It was Pac-12s.
Yeah.
And you were so excited to race. You didn't breathe the first 25. You went like 50 freestyle stroke, no breath, the first 25 of a 200 free. I was like, Pat, what's he doing?
You have to understand, I'll go back to that story in a second. You have to understand my career at ASU has been, hey, we're going to have to train you for the 200 butterfly because we just graduated our Pac-12 champion, Alex Kochi, the year before. So coming in, we swam. I texted Greg the other day, my high school coach. We swam like 4,000 yards.
In high school?
Yeah. Average. maybe 6,000 if, we're feeling fancy that day.
Was it 4,000 quality work?
Quality work. Greg got those power towers. He was a bit ahead of the game, and we implemented that pretty early. And so
Wow.
that's what I mean. I was very lucky to have Lucy, to have Greg, Bob, Dan, right? And so my first year, my freshman year in college, it was, hey, we understand we recruit you for the 50 free and the 100 fly, but we need you for a 200 fly.
Mm-hmm.
So I do this because I was on that side of the pool. I was on lane number 1, where you shouldn't even swim there because whenever you do flip turns, your foot gets caught in the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I got banished to the left side of the pool to work with Dan Kessler. We're averaging 7,000-8,000 yards a day. Man, that shit broke me. Literally, Anna Olas, right? Who's the Hungarian Olympian. She's
World
won
silver.
several medals with open water swim. Super, super talented swimmer. She has lapped me multiple times in a long course pool, not even short course. By the way, Anna is like 5 feet tall and she can just churn, has windmill for days, right? And do you know, like, whenever you swim and you are absolutely at your breaking point, where when you're pulling the water, it's just you can't even pull.
You can't
anymore.
feel your arm anymore. Yeah.
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 That was me a daily basis.
Yeah.
And there was a come to Jesus moment with Dan. He brought me into the double room and he's just like, "How you doing, my man?" Right? I was like, "Dan, I can't move. Like, I want this. I want this for the team, but I just can't move." And I remember there was a adversity, right? Here we go. Adversity. So I had to train with that group for about a few months, and then they switched me over to Shane at times, but we kind of did this back and forth thing. That needed to happen.
Shane was the sprint coach.
Yeah, that needed to happen for my overall success. Because guess what happened 365 days later, right? Bob comes in, right? I'm in a more mid-distance, right? Now, if I went to Bob right away from high school, I still would have died. But I had that year's worth of Dan Kessler training. Now I was able to perform. I was prepped up for Bob's training.
You built your capacity.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Now, what happened that year? Ended up breaking our Pac-12 champions record,
Mm-hmm.
right? At the time, it didn't make sense.
You were the school record holder, right?
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
200 fly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense, right? Or I in my head, it doesn't make sense. Why am I doing this? I can't feel my shoulders. This doesn't make sense for the 50, 300 fly. I was saying all these things, but I didn't really say it out loud because I knew if I said that out loud in front of my teammates, because what I felt, and maybe you can confirm this for me, when Christian and I and that senior class came in, it was kind of like, hey, these are the guys that are going to push things along, right? Along with Richie and Tomas and right, like that sort of crew. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is going to be the crew that kind of takes us to the next step. So we're kind of looked at, even as freshmen, we had to sort of be the starters. Like, we had to step up right away. We had to compete at a high level right away. That's pressure, right? So with that expectation, I already knew from my experience in high school, you got to watch what you say. So I wasn't the first guy to be like, "Oh my God, this sucks. Mm-hmm. Why is Dan Kessler making me do this?" No, I couldn't, right? Because overall, that's going to trickle down to the other guys.
Yeah. Right? I noticed I noticed this the first 3 years of my career at ASU, but like everybody was always complaining. Like we would be at weights, warming up, and then someone found out what the main set is for the day. And then I noticed one person is like, "Oh, we have to do 3 800s today." And then the whole time during weights, it's like dreading 3 800s. I don't know if that was a set, but I'm just using it as an example. And the whole vibe of the whole weights was like, "Oh, 3 800s, 3 800s." And I noticed that as a trend my first 3 years being at ASU. And then my senior year when Bob came in and I was the captain, I was like, I'm going to change this because this is very toxic to just like constantly be complaining all the time. And so I still remember this. I was in the locker room and I made a decision. I was like, I'm never going to complain publicly ever to anyone. Because as soon as I do that as the team captain, you're going to set the tone for what the team culture and vibe is going to be like. Do I want it to be a team that is willing to work and, you know, grind and do all that? Or am I going to set the tone and like, oh, we have to do 3250s today?
Yeah. And it's not like, I don't ever want you to feel like you can't complain ever. I don't think that's what we're trying to say. It's more so like complain to your inner circle, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure the amount of times you talk to Sid, you talk to family, you talk to Katie, right? And that's your inner circle.
Yeah.
But when you're part of a team, there's sort of a game at play, right? It's just kind of how it is. What you say matter. As a CEO, what you do, what you say, your day-to-day, your actions.
People mimic your behavior. Yeah. You set the tone for the company.
Fortunately, unfortunately, it starts at the top.
Yeah.
It starts with you.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but imagine that going back to freshman, apparently skinny boy Pat, right?
You finished skinny boy Pat too. With a little muffin top.
You know what's crazy is I got in at 160, 165. My fastest sprint season was 182.
That was your senior year?
My senior year.
When you went 19.7.
Yeah, I think junior or senior year I was 182. Yeah.
So you put 20 pounds of size on.
Yeah. And then the year that I was training with you, right? In 2019, I got my trials cut. By the way, right? Like we barely trained, right? Like, and we'll talk about that, like how we got there. But within that year, I went best times. This is close to 2 years out of college. And that was when I was a $190, right? So, you know, I was a skinny
in the 50
boy.
free, your hunter fly was it, did you go best time in the hunter fly?
100 fly, 100 free.
Did you go best times in those two?
Yeah.
Oh.
The 100 free was 50 point. I've never been 50 point.
Yeah, you did go 50 point. I remember that.
Yeah, that was like, where did that?
Yeah.
Like, where did that come from?
In the B. I swam with best time in the B final at Futures in Mount Hood in 2019. Yeah. And then you were in the A final and you won it in a 50.5 or something like that. I remember this.
Yeah, something like that. Mount Hood.
Mount Hood. There's a picture of us hugging after you did the trials cut. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. Shout out to Juhan. Juhan was my Juhan Hong, man. That guy to this day is still a brother. It's one of those like I can call him and be like, hey, I have to go bury this body.
He says where?
Yeah, he's just like, where?
Yeah.
He's like, whose car are we taking?
Yeah.
You know?
I wanna talk about your tuner fly. Like I want to get into like the nitty gritty of your tuner fly. Okay. Coming in as a senior, when you graduated senior year of high school, what was your tuner fly time?
146, 147.
And hunter fly?
It was 47.
So you're 47, 146.
Yeah.
Coming in, and then freshman year, what did you go?
At
ASU.
Freshman year, I went 144.
144 and 46?
Mm-hmm.
And then sophomore year?
And then sophomore year, I went 142.
Oh, that was your best time, sophomore year.
Sophomore year was my best 200 fly.
That was Bob's first year.
First year. Yeah.
What do you think was the big contributor to going from 144 to 142? Like what kind of training? What were you doing? Was it a technical thing, mindset thing?
I feel like it's been a cop-out at this point, but all the above. So I remember being in the back pool at ASU and Misty Hyman and I were working on fly. Now, will I ever have the same flexibility that she's had, right? Because Misty was able to like flex her back and her spine. I can never do that. But she did teach me how to catch that specific year, the water out in front and just being able to use that propulsion going forward. Bob, that was just a new type of training. For him, he said, hey, if we need to fit in 8,000 yards in 2 hours, we will do that. Now, was there only a select few times we've done that? Yeah. His sets are hard, yes, but it's high quality. The amount of times that I've had garbage yards where, hey, we've got 15 minutes on the clock, let's do 15 100s. That doesn't fly anymore. If you want to do the 50, there are things to do to train for the 50. I was training for the 50, the 100 fly, 200 fly, so the training looked different. His belief back then, I am pretty sure he has the same belief. It's the trickle down effect, he called it. You're going to train for the 200 fly. And you know what's going to happen? You are going to absolutely fly in the 100 fly, and you're going to finish a race. And somehow, some way, those underwater kicks that you're doing, whatever, it's going to trickle down to your 50 free. Sophomore year was technically my best individual performance year. Now with relays, junior, senior year, that's when I kind of became a relay swimmer. I was never a relay swimmer in high school. I kind of had a big head. I was like, oh, who needs to do relays? I'm going to make it on my own for individual races, right? Now, fast forward college,
It matters.
It matters.
Yeah.
It switched completely.
Yeah. So and then 200 fly, you never went faster than 142 junior senior year.
No, I was like kind of stuck at 143, and then at that point, this is where we can go back to the parents' dynamic, the adversity. Like I was a hothead as an athlete. My engine burned with anger, with a chip on the shoulder, and that's all great for a select amount of time. I didn't know that that typical gas tank can only last maybe 15, 20 years, 15 years. After that, your body straight up starts to break, right?
You had a back injury, ankle injury,
knees, right?
Knees.
And it wasn't as bad where like I was out for the season, but you hear these college football players playing under, soreness, tightness, a busted ankle all the time. It was basically like the same thing, right? I wasn't out for the count. I could still race, but I just knew fundamentally I had to fix things to get better. I think that's why we saw a lot of success post ASU in individual performances again, because that was the first time that we were working towards one event. With ASU, and this is not a knock at coaches, coaching philosophy. I think just straight up, I think we trained way too much.
Because you have to do a lot. Because you have to do the 50 free, 100 free, 100 fly, 200 fly. You got to do prelims, finals. It's 4 days of swimming, relays. You have to have a big capacity.
We were training to be able to race for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
We weren't training for one race. Now, if we are training for one day, maybe a prelims and finals for one lap across the pool, like we did that and we saw success.
That was fun.
And FYI, Sean and Sid, like ASP, they're doing that right now with your pro athletes, right? We're athletes across the board, right? And so it's worked with me. It's working for them, and it's going to work in the future.
What? So you said chip on your shoulder, anger, that was your fuel for high school and first couple years of college.
Yeah.
When post college you restarted your career, what was your fuel then?
So Sean, we actually had a deep talk about this. It was USC. We so first of all, like,
we had the deep talk at USC, or it was about USC?
No, it was after my race at USC. So to get back into like the USA swimming database, I had to go into like some random meet in Phoenix, race there so that I could qualify for this random meet at the USC pool.
Oh, LAI 2019.
2019,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that was kind of the one of those meets that I just had to go to and just be in front of, racers again. By the way, my first race, I don't think I've ever told you this. I was in like lane 8, unattached, by myself. I'm pretty sure everyone was kind of like laughing because they were like, I don't think this kid should be in lane 8.
This
But
is LAI or the Phoenix meet?
no, this is the Phoenix meet.
Uh-huh.
So I could qualify to just have times on the board
Got it.
at the USC meet. At USC, and I don't know if it was the environment, just seeing you in the stands and kind of the environment, but I had the cap and goggles on. I was looking at my lane, and usually I look to my left and my right, and I think I'll still kind of turn this on. But in my head, the things that I say in my head before races, people will think I'm a crazy person, right? I am going to absolutely rip you apart, right? That was across the board, even at 8 years old. It was like that. It's like, I don't care who you are, right? But for the next 20 to 40 seconds,
You're the enemy.
I am going to kill you, right? And so that was the mentality. But at USC and meets that year, it was kind of like, man, I get to step up on the block. I get to race. I wasn't racing to break records anymore. I wasn't racing to get a best time even. I wasn't racing to become an All-American. Those were the ASU standards, right, back then.
You had to do it.
I had to do it. Nothing against ASU. That's what I wanted to do at the time. But in 2019, 2020, 2021, it was more of a, man, I get to do this.
You don't have to do it.
Right.
You
exactly.
can stop anytime you want. Yeah.
Imagine that's so powerful. Man, I get to race.
Yeah.
Think about those people, Sean, where they step up on the block or think about the people that can't even step up onto a block.
Paralympics.
Right? Like just like, not being able.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
Gratitude is so powerful.
100%.
You're our last guest, Santi, actually mentioned the same exact thing, right? He said his mindset switch now, because he just restarted his career too, was I get to do this. I don't have to do this. If I don't want to go to practice, I don't have to. I'm not calling Santi, hey, where are you at? It's I get to do this. And I think there's so much value in if you can get to that place, I get to do this. And there's no expectations, no pressure. I think you can create magical swims, which you did in 2019. You went best times and everything.
Yeah, everything. I don't think I know a few of the ASP roster. I don't know Santi personally, but a quick message for him is, stay on that energy, right?
Yeah.
Because if you have that mindset of, wow, I get to do this, and you're grateful and you're appreciative of just the game, the sport of it all, man, I get to race. It's so beautiful, man.
I wonder how we can transfer some of that mindset into the high school athletes nowadays, because for them it's very hard to get to that space, because there's parental pressure, 2, there's pressure from coaches, 3, there's pressure to achieve college scholar. Like I think the high school swimmers nowadays have the most pressure out of any other swimming generation that we've ever had. So I'm wondering, one, is it possible to instill and inject some of that mindset into the high school swimmers now? Or is it a lost cause? Or we just need to do more education for these people? Because, like youth, mental health, all that stuff is going downhill right now. I wonder, how can we, if you were a coach, you're a great coach, by the way. If you're in the Phoenix area, hit up Pat for private lessons. Great coach. If you're a coach and you're coaching, actually you do coach high school kids. You coach kids at your high school team.
Yeah, so
Chaparral High School.
Yeah, Russ and I, we used to coach high school. This is the first season we stepped away.
How can you teach your high school kids to be grateful for the opportunity to race when they have all this pressure behind them?
Man, I'm gonna pull a conversation from like 3 years ago. It's a former ASU swimmer, and he's done it all, right? U.S. national team, he All-American record holder, everything.
Who is this?
This is Grant House.
Oh, okay.
Right. And so there was a point, and he's probably still going through it. Like every professional athlete is going through this right now. you know exactly what the pain feels to swim 100 freestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know, like it's almost like you can
I could
feel.
feel it.
Yeah, you
I
can
could feel
feel
it
it.
in my arms.
I know exactly how a 53 feels. It hurts. You're gonna be huffing puffing, but you'll be okay. But the 100 free, the 200 free, right? For him, it was the 100 and the 200. And it's like, Grant, you are now at this point in life where like nothing is unexpected anymore. You know everything about this game. You know, like even if you jab your toe, how it's going to feel against the wall. You know, the feeling of the grip on the starting block against your toe as you wrap it around. Like, you know that feeling, right? So I asked him a question. I'll ask you the same thing. Can you teach ignorance? Almost like not knowing, right? Because it's almost like I am asking you to turn back the clock and go back to when you're 8 years old, where you had to figure things out again.
How does this tie into the gratitude piece?
Because I think without knowing, that's when you don't have expectations. So that's the power of, and maybe help me out here. Maybe there's a better way to phrase that, but that's exactly how I phrased it with Grant was, can you teach ignorance? Can you sort of erase experience and say, start over? Because that's when you have the most fun, when you don't have any expectations. So if anything, going back to, do we need to educate? My first question was like, educate what? How do you even educate that? It's
Be grateful for what you have.
I'll look at you, Sean. I'll be like, what the hell?
Right. That's what I'm saying. You know, how, like, you can't tell a 16-year-old kid to be grateful. It's very hard to have that conversation. But I do think you can teach ignorance. I think you do it by, in practice, you focus on, okay, high elbow here, fast turn here, do this with your toes. And then when you race, you say, just shut it off. Whether you do well or you do bad, I still love you as an athlete. I'm here to support you. It doesn't matter. Just go out and have fun. And I think if you can get them in a place where you're not setting expectations, you're just saying, hey, have fun. We can turn our brain off. Marina has this quote, train smart, swim dumb. If you can do that, then I think you can put the athlete in a place where they're having fun. And I think fun equals gratitude for kids.
Say that again. Train smart. What was the second
Swim
part?
dumb. Train smart, swim dumb.
Wow.
Sid's pointing at Pat
Sid's
right
pointing
now.
at me. I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I want to talk about your 50 free. Oh, sorry, no. Before the 50 free, I want to talk about 200 butterfly tactics.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, we just went on a.
We went on. Yeah, I want to bring this back to
200
like
fly.
actual 200 butterfly tactics. Not a lot of people go 142 in the 200 fly short course.
But that's nothing now.
It's nothing now, but like to do that in 2015, you're all American at NC2As.
Yeah.
Just walk me through 200 fly. First 25. What are you thinking about? Off the blocks? How many kick counts? What do the first couple strokes feel like? Just walk me through each 25.
8 kicks, breakout, 4 strokes, 25.
Breathe every stroke.
Breathe every stroke.
And effort wise,
I'm using. I had a pretty explosive start.
Mm-hmm.
I could get to 15 pretty fast, so I could use that start to have a very coast 25.
You're using the momentum from your start to just chill that first 25.
Yeah, it's a special, again, it's a feeling where you don't have to do that massive lat pull down. You can kind of just feel like you're pulling air. And then you're just going 1, 2. I can literally see it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 7, 8, breakout, 1, 2, 3, 4, touch, push off. Like, I could see
8 kicks every wall.
No, it ended up being about 6, but it's not the same kicks as 100 fly, obviously, right? For the 100 fly, it was the tempo was kick, a kick, a kick, right? The 200 fly, it was a little bit more unique. It had to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6th one, you got to really pop up.
The last one is a hard kick.
Hard kick.
So it's smooth first 5 and then pop on the 6th one. Okay, so second 25, effort's still the same?
Effort's still the same. If anything, my fly, it's very smooth until it isn't. So I feel like this is,
Slow is fast kind of thing?
yeah, like the second I had that, like this,
Yeah.
this feeling,
Yeah.
like describe that for me. What am I doing here? Just like that jerk
Yeah.
reaction.
Yeah. You're forcing it.
I'm forcing it because I can't freaking move.
Yeah.
The second that happens, that's when it's the 150 point. So I could, in theory, whatever you're feeling that first 25, whatever I'm describing, that second 25 for the first 50, I'm doing that for a 125. There's nothing forced. It's
The
just,
entire 125 is just
yeah,
chill.
it's almost but my chill, right, was like smooth, even though it's fast. I was going out like 48 at the
Yeah, I
100
wish I
mark.
could cruise a 4,800 fly.
Yeah, but it was nice and easy. But for whatever reason, the wall hits. Now, I think this was the difference. You and I had talked about this a long time ago. I was All American. And even to coworkers, partners now, they understand, oh, you're a very talented swimmer. That's great. But between top 16 and top 2 in the country to make the Olympic Games, huge spread. I think the best of the best, they know how to do that stroke for a 175. In the last 25, they can even push
Sprint.
it even harder
Mm-hmm.
through the pain. If I were to write my own story, I would add that.
Add what?
Add that, like that gene where you can withstand pain, but still have. So my reaction was the second I felt pain, I forced it.
You're like push into the pain. Lean into it.
Right? That's not how you're supposed to do it. The second you feel the pain, you still got to flow through.
Keep the flow going.
Right? And so I tell swimmers all the time, like I am sticking my hand out right now. This is relaxed, right? Right now, like a lot of swimmers, when they swim, it's like this. And I don't know if you could tell, like I just flex my forearm,
Shout out Nico.
Right?
He's our breaststroker that we have.
And so like, look at how like I'm like flexing my fingers, right?
He swims like that.
You don't need to swim like this.
Tense. Yeah.
Right? Just my arm is still straight.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because all butterfly is asking for is keeping your arm straight at a certain point, slightly bending your elbow, and doing the full pull follow through. That's it.
It's use the minimum effort necessary to get the job done.
Yeah. But then my mistake looking back has been forcing the effort. And then that's when the vertical happened.
So if you could go back into your college career and coach your own 200 fly, how would you coach yourself in the 200 fly?
See, the 200 fly is such a unique one because I still need the endurance capacity to finish the race. I wish Bob was in the room because, I would ask him, can you just get me tired enough? Maybe it's a series of, now I'm getting into nitty gritty. Maybe it's just a series of like freestyle set, right? And it's like an endurance set. And then all of a sudden while I'm hurting, put me into the butterfly and just like have me do a 50 butterfly and like try to hit a pace under pain, right?
I remember meet warm up, Bob would have us do like hundreds and it was a 75 free, 25 fly. Do you remember this?
For before meet, he gave us a meet warm up.
Yeah, like not the meet warm up, but we would have like a mini practice practice before, and we would do like 4 100s maybe, like 75 cruise, not cruise, but like kind of like white pinkish free, and then 25 fly. I don't know if you remember this, but basically that's what you're talking about. Like do free to kind of tire you out, and your fly stroke is still intact. Flip, go hard fly.
Yeah. So, and now looking back, Bob did do those type of sets. It was like a series of 300s with some fly mix in between. And then like Richie was doing backstroke, right? Like Tebow was probably doing breaststroke. Mm-hmm. And so it was like a 300 where you're doing like either 200 free with 100 fly at the end, or it's like a 75 fly at the end, a 50 fly, and a 25. Like, right, he's just kind of like trying to mimic the pain points.
So like 200 free, first 100 is free, next 100 is fly. Like that.
No, it's 200 free straight.
Oh, 200 free and then
fly.
100 fly on top. So it's 300.
Yeah, but he didn't mix in 100. I think he always tried to do like a 75 or 50. There was a practice where it's like do multiple of those 100 flies, but he started to like build down towards it. But answering your question, it's really, can you mimic the pain a little bit more in a high quality test set? And really, it's almost like from a psychological level of, and I don't know the answer to this, Sean, so you're going to have to help me out, but it's meeting someone, or is there a way to teach, like, hey, the second you feel that wall, just keep doing what you've been doing for the entire 150. Don't change it, right? It's kind of like
familiar. You're familiar. Oh, this hurts like that. When it hurts like this, I'm going to do it like that.
Just keep flowing.
Yeah.
Mine was a force.
So if you could go back, you would teach yourself how to chill when that pain hits.
Yeah, which also serves a lot of life lessons, right? Right? Whenever
great life parallels.
Right? Like whenever you go through an obstacle or whenever things hurt, are you going to force and punch through the wall, which has been my majority of my life, which is I see a obstacle, just
run through it.
Yeah, just run through it. Or it's like, there's a door right there, go around. Right? Like, can you work smarter?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. Right? And so that's, I'll say, to round out your question, it's really, a combination of, there's a training component. Because at ASU, you're right, we did the trickle down effect, but I had to train for the 100 fly, the 50 free. Now, was I ever going to strictly train for the 200 butterfly? That was the goal. That was a priority. But guess what happened after each championship season? Hey, Pat, we're not going to put you on the 200 medley relay. This has happened every single year in college. What happens at NCAA is I'm on the medley relay. Hey,
200 medley?
200 medley relay.
You did it.
I done that one the most consistent, because they're debating, hey, do we put you on the A free relay? There's a couple of years I was on the A free relay. So in reality, they were building me to become a Swiss Army knife.
You did the butterfly and the 2 medley or the free?
No, it was always the freestyle. Because we had badasses like Tatis and
Tatis was good.
Porter was really good. Man, that 2017 team where we scored 100 points and we're top 10 in the country.
That was the start.
That was the start, man. That was awesome. Like that was when Tebow was around. We had like 4 or 5 good breaststrokers. We had Tatis and Porter for the Flyers. Richie,
Barkley, Tomas.
Yeah, that was a good. Cameron was there. Yeah, that was his sophomore year. So
131, just chilling, 2 free.
131. I remember I actually brought his name up during one of my private lessons the other day. He had this amazing ability. So his elbow position, his flexibility. What kind of rotation is this?
That's external.
External, right? Internal. So when you throw a baseball, right, you have to have
external rotation.
Yeah. And so if you look like a snapshot, it looks like your elbow shouldn't be moving that way, but his can. I'm like, Cameron, where does that come from? Oh, I think it's from my baseball days. So whatever he could do this way, the unique ability was he could do it the other way, right? And so he was able to almost like lift himself above the water.
A crazy high elbow catch is what you're saying.
Yeah. And so whenever he would pull, his face would physically be out of the water every single stroke. Which when you coach, you don't teach that.
Face out of the water.
And that's another thing I wanted to, I know you have questions for me, but it's like selfishly, I want to learn too. There are things that the greats do that 99% of people can't do, and you don't want to teach them that way.
No.
Right? And so it's like you give them a generic blueprint. Do a start this way. Do the freestyle this way. I would never teach a swimmer to get your effing face out of the water because you have this high external rotation that turns into internal high elbow catch to get your face out of the water. No coach is going to teach like that, right? One of these days, you're going to have Jack Little on this podcast because he taught me something the other day. I don't know if this is X-Files, but apparently Jordan Crooks, whenever he does his start, and Sid, is this in frame, this part? So normally when you do a start, like I like to wrap my toes here. And then I like to use that like big toe to push off, right? Apparently Jordan, what he does, it's take your mark, go. He lifts.
So when they say take your mark, his toe is down or up?
His toe is down, right?
Oh, so when they say go, the first thing he does is he lifts his toes.
After go, obviously if he does it before, it's a false start. But after the beep, he lifts up his foot and then he pushes off.
Interesting. I need to go watch this. I never knew that.
Yeah. Now, why does that help a monster like him? Maybe he needs the extra lift.
He's trying to use his stretch reflex in his foot, and that's what he's trying to do.
You see, this is the language that I don't speak, but yeah.
But yeah, like when you're going to dunk a basketball, right? You have to go down quick and then up, opposed to like, imagine you're sitting on a bench and then you try to jump.
Correct.
You're going to jump higher if you go down and up quick. So what Jordan is trying to do, probably he's a very, I've never met him. I've never seen him move in person, but I'm guessing he must be a very bouncy, elastic person. Like Santo is a very elastic, bouncy person. And so he's more on the elastic side of the spectrum. There's elastic people and then there's force people. Santo and Jordan, Santo is on the elastic side. I'm guessing Jordan is also on the elastic side. And I always say the greats just figure out a way to use their anatomy to the best of their ability. So Jordan probably figured out, I'm faster if I do this. And it just naturally happened.
Herbie told me this. Herbie Bem, head coach at ASU. He told me 3 years ago, with any given athlete, you don't necessarily change their stroke. This blew my mind. I wonder if he has the same philosophy 3 years later. But it's under the impression that I am not going to change the way that they feel the water. I am teaching them to go fast using the tools that they have. So it's like using their kind of anatomy, their own body type. They're going to move a certain type of way. And for guys like Jordan, it completely breaks the rules of swimming. Whatever 10 commandments there are, right? Whatever rules are in place, he breaks them. Here's another one that you might have already noticed. His breakout, he breaks his streamline, and you see, kind of like the Cam Craig, you see his forehead outside. Normally it's your ear needs to be like right here on your bicep, right? Stuck. His is not. His head is way above his arm. Now, from a surface area, from an efficiency, if I'm looking straight at you on streamline, if your head's sticking out, that is not efficient. But for him, it makes sense. Why? Because he has so much power. It actually makes sense for leverage purposes.
It must be like he can create more leverage if he's in that position, opposed to the trade-off for the less efficiency it's greater because he can hold more water. Therefore, he made that trade-off.
The trade-off,
probably what happened.
That's perfect. This is why I kind of like look at you to translate for me at times, right? The trade-off is real. It just made sense for him to do this massive lat pull down to get him outside of the water to start his 17-something 50 freestyle.
Right. But you know what? I always talk about the greats figure out how to use their body to figure out how to make themselves use their own anatomy in a efficient way for them. But behind all that, there has to be a motivating factor great enough that forces them to want to explore, to want to figure out different things. Basically what I'm trying to say is it takes a ton of spirit, for a lack of a better word. It takes a ton of spirit to to get someone to really maximize their anatomy. Do you know what I'm saying? This is what I was talking about earlier with you. Physically, you know, you're not the most gifted, but your mindset, you had this, again, for lack of a better word, spirit, this fighting spirit that forced you to become great.
We,
You
we
know,
we had this inside joke. Just quick sidebar. We had this inside joke. Still runs to this day with our ASU teammates, where I just walk into the weight room. I'm like, boys, I'm so fucking massive.
a skinny little Asian
then
boy
I
walks
would
in.
always like flex like this, and I'll just walk around like to this day. Like you already know. So I'm driving back to Phoenix right after this, and doing some birthday celebrations on Saturday. Birthday's on Monday, so
Oh, happy
you,
early October 20th, right?
yeah, thanks, brother.
Happy
And
early birthday.
thanks, man. And so you already know I am going to walk into that social function.
You walk in sideways through the door because
Well,
your lats
so
are too big.
here's the deal. I bring back family into this with mom, dad. The way I was raised is if you truly see it and you believe it, nothing can effing stop you. Period. It doesn't matter. I have a lane. You got a lane, you got a chance, right? So it doesn't matter how big you are, strong. It doesn't matter because inside, I am going to beat you.
Mm.
I'm going to find a way. I will give up an arm or a leg to beat you, right? And then we go back into the ASU days. That was back when we practically lost every single meet during the head-to-head back-to-back Cal and Stanford. Do you remember that?
Those were brutal.
I
I did a 200 freestyle. In my heat was Ryan Murphy, Jacob Pebley, and Andrew Salaskar. And they're chilling going 133, and I went like a 144.
yeah.
Those are rough days.
Yeah. It's sure it was rough. What I didn't like about those days was, and these are brothers of mine, right? These are some of these guys are going to be my wedding one of these days, right? And so not to talk too much smack about the old ASU days, the old guard, but we complained so much about going up against that high level. Do you remember?
We almost put them on a pedestal. Like it was game over before we even got there because we already looked up to them. Oh, it's Cal and Stanford.
Yeah. Yeah. Not we. I don't want to be part of that. I didn't. Right.
Yeah.
So sorry. So automatically I just totally changed demeanor, right? Just it pissed me off seeing us like that my freshman, sophomore year. Do you remember the amount of times I came home? So Sean and I lived together. Sid and I lived together in college. The amount of times I would come home, beeline it straight for a freezer and grab the frozen peas to put in my right hand.
Why was your hand swollen?
So like I think permanently I have some kind of like damage right here, the right hand, because it's coming home from these meets, and it's like we went into it so defeated. It wasn't losing; it was the reaction.
Mm-hmm.
That was just so frustrating. And if you look at locker number, was it maybe it's 139, 138 at ASU? There's probably like a dent somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Right. Because I always punch my own locker. But again, for kids and young athletes that watch this and listen to this, don't be so reactionary. This is me 10 years away, removed from the sport, competing at a high level in college. It's never the answer. If anything, you are burning yourself out for the long term, right? And so if you are frustrated, right, there are different avenues to take. But at the time, it's like, come on, guys, like we gotta be better than this. We are better than this. But back then, I didn't know this, but we were just a stepping stone to keep progressing. That needed to happen. Now, maybe I was the jerk to be the spark. I don't think I was the spark. I think I just recognized the problem. And then what was the next recruiting class, right? They could actually solve the problem, right? And then there was another recruiting class. And then Leon came. Then you became.
You were definitely
right?
one of the big sparks of that whole ASU, culture change. 100%. You helped set the tone for the next class,
Yeah. I mean, then you got to add like Richie, Tommy in there. Those are guys. I'm still in a group chat with them to this day. And there's not a week that goes by that we don't miss a text. And I know if I text them today and saying, hey, I need something, you need to be here, be like, hey, I'm on the next flight out. Right? Those are the relationships. So imagine back during the Cal and Stanford days, it's like, I need to be in a line with you guys and let's march. Give up an arm or a leg for this. Right? And the second I saw like one of the guys took a step back because they want to put on a pedestal or whatever you said, that was so unbelievably frustrating to the point touching, punching lockers for no reason, right? Like you remember, I'm always on the couch. I'm like this watching TV, and you're just like, man, you gotta stop doing this, man.
Yeah. What was your favorite Bob Bowman set? Or your least favorite? Actually, let's do that. Favorite and least favorite.
Yeah. Love the Grant Hackett set with Bob.
Can you explain that? Do you want me to explain it?
I think it'll be better for you because it's been so long. Like 1650s. Yeah.
It starts off 1650s on Sid can help me. Yeah, 1650s on 45, I believe. Every fourth one is fast. And then there's no breaks. It just goes right into 1250s. Every third one is fast on 50. And then 850s, every other fast on 55. And then 450s on a minute, I believe. And all of them are fast. So technically it's 5 fast because on the 8th one, when it's 850s, it's the second one is fast. And then you go into 450s fast. Right, so it's 550s fast at the end. I remember that was by far the most painful set I've ever done in my whole life, and I think I did it like 3 times when I was swimming with Bob.
Yeah. So there's a freestyle version, and then there's a butterfly version.
Did you do him fly?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So think about the 550s, right? I'm only good for about 2 to 3 of them.
Yeah.
And the last 2, I'm like vertical.
So are you saying that was your least favorite or that was your favorite?
That was actually my favorite.
That was your favorite.
So I must be a sicko or a psycho, but Sean, I miss it, man. I actually miss.
You miss Bob.
Bob, I miss you. I miss all my coaches. I miss the grind. I miss the pain, right? I miss because the pain is so rewarding when you see this actual success.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, the success was the records, the best times. Looking back, man, the success was the journey. And I know that's so cheesy and I know that's so corny. But Sean, I am involved with really 3 startups right now. And I go back to this now. The hardest part is now building these businesses. I'm going to look back one of these days and say, like, man, the journey has been so incredibly fun. It's not about the achievements. It's like what you go and learn along the way. Oh my God, that's a Hallmark postcard.
I try to think about that too.
It's so hard.
For me personally, it's so hard.
It's so hard
because right now, like I feel like I'm in the suck in terms of entrepreneurship. Like every morning I wake up, how am I going to get punched in the face today? I just know like I'm going to get something that's going to punch me in the face today. And I talked to someone about this and I was like, they're like, what would you tell to yourself if you're like coaching yourself? Oh, practice gratitude, enjoy the journey. When you look back on this, you're going to be grateful, blah, blah, blah. And I try to do it, but I don't know if, for whatever reason for me, and maybe you can give me advice on this. It's so hard to like remind myself, this is what you wanted. You know, Sean 4 years ago, if I told myself now, this is what we would have, this is what we would have built, I don't think I would have believed him. And this is everything I wanted, and yet I'm still struggling to like be happy, to be satisfied with what we have. I want more, you know? And every day is just getting punched in the face every single day.
Well, listen, brother, we get to do this, man.
Right. We get, and like, okay, so how would I coach myself to get over this? You get to do this. Be grateful for what you have. You have a roof over your head. Your family is healthy. Say all these things. Do it. But then you do it, and then you go back to normal, and it's like just getting punched in the face every day. You know?
Yeah.
That part, I'm trying to work on it, is something I'm really struggling with lately.
I don't know why you're looking this way for advice, my man.
You're in the same. No, I think I think I'm saying it because I see you. You know, I don't know how you deal with 3 startups. It's I can barely do 1 startup. I can't imagine doing 3.
Well, also like one startup is it's a med tech startup, and there's a lot of vision and leadership there. It's not like I'm actively doing the decision making, but the other 2, I am. That's really,
You're in the suck.
yeah, that's pretty hard. And
Yeah.
so I want to tell you a quick story of just, this morning. So Lauren and I, we drove in, we parked right outside. We had to go grab something from the trunk of the car to bring inside. And I'm looking at this gym, and I texted you guys about this in a group chat the other day with your first podcast. And I could feel like the vibration in my head. Sid, if you don't mind pulling that up for me, because I do want to read it. And I felt that walking into this gym. So I have the perfect angle right now. There's a window right here. I could see the ASP, the Quad Sports Performance Gym here, and seeing the logo on the floor, right? And thank you. It's been so incredible seeing. I told Lauren, I was like, the next time we're back here, they're going to be fully set up.
God, I hope so.
Yeah. But like, think about from my perspective. I know you're in the suck, but just put yourself in my shoes for a second. The next time I'm here and I'm doing a workout and I'm huffing and puffing, the turf is going to be set up, right? I'm going to see Olympic athletes here in this gym, right? I'm going to see your kids rolling around on the turf, Rylan going crazy, right? I felt the same thing, man. And so, oh shit, sorry, Sid, you're going to have to unlock. But yeah, I just want to read this again because, so for context, it was late at night, and I saw that
This was a group text that Pat sent to Sid and I.
Yeah, and I send them. This is my text to Sean and Sid. I'm not even 5 minutes in, and had to text you two. I'm not sure why, but seeing you two on camera in front of a mic on this got me pretty emotional. Now, no tears or anything, but that certain vibration feeling in my chest. You guys have worked so hard to get here. You've already built a mountain for yourself. You're not even close to the fucking top. I'm going back to the pot to listen, but need you to hear this shit from me. Keep going. Y'all talk about pursuing potential, which doesn't come with a guarantee. But nope, you're going to make it. And when you do, you're bringing everybody who rocks with ASP right up with you. So chalk it up as a guarantee. Anybody that says different, send them my way. So pursue potential, yeah, but really pursue, period. Keep building, my brothers. I love to be there for the highs, but make sure you call me for the lows. I'm there either way. Yeah, man. Like,
wow.
Even though that's my text to you guys, thanks, Sid. Even though that was my text to you guys, like I've been reading that sort of for myself. And I was at dinner the other day with a couple business owners, and if I make it, I want to make sure my brothers make it with me. And I want to be able to eat together, right? Everyone gets to eat, right? And I see what you guys are building, and it's so incredibly special to watch from an outside looking in. So Sean, to answer, right? And I don't have all the answers, but it is gonna suck. Right. You are in the middle of it, but I just want you to have that perspective of wow, like we get to build something pretty special. And what's really cool is that you're starting to have this special type of following where like people are starting to rock. Not starting, they've been, but you get what I mean. You're building this sort of this rep in the swimming world in this industry. And it's just super cool to watch. Sid and I might have gone on my high horse the other day, and I apologize to Sid, but this is post dinner. We're grabbing a little sweet treat, and I was telling him everything that's wrong with our sport. I love swimming so much, but there's a lack of money and sponsorships, and we've got. Have you ever watched that? Is it Leslie Jones, the track star?
Mm-hmm.
There's a documentary on like she wasn't very financially stable. Olympic champion athlete, right? Across the board, that has been the struggle with Olympic athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Swimming. That is so.
We're trying to fix that.
We're trying to fix that. And my call out to Sid was right now, ASP, you're trying to change that with your team right now. It's all relative, right? Like it's small. That's a small difference, but you're making a difference. Back to Dan Kessler. You are making a difference. That's awesome.
We want to be the pioneers of it.
But now how do we change? S1.
S1, yeah.
S1. And by the way, Sid, I think that is an incredible idea. I think there needs to be a change. There needs to be some excitement. I think there needs to be a lot of jerks in this sport, a lot of personalities where they get out of the water and they flip,
spit in the lane.
Yeah, flip someone off, say screw you, and there needs to be that. Yeah. I don't know why do we always have to be so polite all the time and respectful? It makes bad TV.
You talk just like Santo. Santo always talks about this.
Oh my God, we just brought this up, right? Santo, I haven't seen you or raced you in 10 years. We'll love to hang out one of these days. Maybe
you guys are very similar, actually.
So to this day, I've loved that story with him and his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Where, they basically said, F everyone.
Yeah.
And so flip them off.
Yeah.
And then I know that got bad press. But I was one of those guys that said, why?
Why?
If anything, keep doing that.
Yeah.
Keep doing that shit.
We need more personalities. Everyone's too the same. We're just copying each other, doing the same thing over and over again. And then we wonder why the sport is not growing.
Yeah. Yeah. And
we have to do something different.
I hate being one of those guys. There's a spread of time over the last couple months with USA Swimming CEO, and I saw Mel Stewart and with Swim, and he's starting to interview a lot of these CEOs or owners of big club teams across the country, asking and picking their brain about what should we do, and all the respect to those guys, but at a certain point, it almost felt like a complaint session of what everything they do a really good job of articulating the problem.
But no solutions.
And you know what? I'm the biggest hypocrite here because I'm going to do the same thing. There are a lot of problems, right? I don't even know what the solutions are. So, okay. MedTech startup. It's a neuro device. And I'm out here for CNS the last few days. And I drove with one of the Mayo residents to the conference. And actually ended up meeting his fiance over dinner. We went to some random ramen bar at 9:30 at downtown LA. And one of her dreams is to really change and fix the medical industry. I'm only a couple years into the medtech job. Okay. I don't want to say I'm jaded yet, but I've seen some things of like, you kind of turn your head, it's like, what happened? Like, how is that slipped? How human error is a thing in the medical industry. I put doctors and surgeons up on a pedestal. I still do. Nurses, they do so much, right? I'll get to my point, but it's how do you fix human error? How do you fix the problem? It's such a big problem that you almost can't. It's such a daunting task. So I need to give, I gave her a hug and be like, let me know how I can help, but I don't know how you're going to do it. Right. And so she's getting her master's at Harvard and medical administration. And I am going to help her as much as I can, because there needs to be a change there too. Swimming problems, it almost seems like a lost cause, because all it has to do is like, where's the money coming from?
Right.
That's really one of the big issues, right? Where is the money going to come from? So either someone
money flows to value. We had this conversation the other day. Money flows to value, and the market decides what's valuable. We need to make swimming more valuable. That's all it is.
But Sean, swimming's amazing. It's so valuable to me. That doesn't matter.
That grinds my gears. Pat and I had this conversation, and I actually spoke about this on the Swim Slam podcast. It's like people complain, these swimmers work so hard. They train 10 times a day. They need to make more money. But why? You know, the janitor down the street works his ass off, doesn't make that much money. Why? The market decided that it's not that valuable. You know, you used to be in finance. You understand how finance and money and value exchange works.
Yeah.
It's money. The market decides that this is valuable, this is not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is we understand that attention is one of the greatest assets in this modern economy, right? And so how do we curate and gather as much attention as possible and start monetizing that attention in order to help these athletes make money? That's kind of our whole thesis with this Road to LA thing, is to bring more eyeballs to the sport, bring more eyeballs to the athletes, help the athletes get brand deals. So if you're watching this and you want to sponsor one of our athletes, reach out.
100%. Yeah.
Because like Calvin, he just had a job interview the other day. I don't want him working. I want him training and then resting.
No, your job is to be an athlete.
I want him to just train, rest, not train and then go worry about having to do this and go, talk to your boss and sit at a desk for 8 hours and mess up your back or whatever, right? So that's the core issue. How do we get these top athletes actually paid? Yeah. And part of that is also the responsibility of the athlete. You can't just complain, say, hey, give me more sponsors, give me more sponsors. You have to think and be empathetic enough to understand what is the ROI for these brands. These brands have to, all sponsorship is ROI calculations from the perspective of the brand. The brand is saying, if I give this guy $3,000 a month, what am I going to get in return in terms of eyeballs or whatever? You can't just say, give me free money because I'm good. You have to sell yourself as a package. You have to make yourself marketable to the swimming economy, and then present that to brands, and then you can make yourself valuable, not just give me money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, here's the question: is what is the problem? Right. The problem is the value. Like, what is there anything else to that you recognize? Are there other problems?
I'm sure there are, but not that I can think of right now.
But the main thing
the main one is value, right? Because money is the primary issue.
And swimming just happens from a dollar figure, doesn't have the money.
Yeah.
In theory, there is money in swimming. We put a lot of money into club team fees.
Yeah.
And so, but why are small to medium sized club teams struggling right now? Why wasn't there an Olympic year boost last year? This is quite concerning. Is our sport growing? But no, our athletes are getting faster. That's not the metric that we should be looking at. Those are the top 1%ers. We might be getting faster.
At the top.
Yeah, the top layer, it's almost like we have a consistently like 16 swimmers in each event that are highly competitive, right? Now it's like, okay, outside of nationals, US Open, World Cup, let's look at the club teams. How do we incentivize them, right? How do we incentivize just kids that just want to get into the sport? How do we make it less daunting? How do we make it more exciting?
Yeah.
Here's a hot take for you. I don't know if I want my kids to swim.
I say that all the time. I
Yeah,
say that all the time, actually. When people ask me that, are you going to make your kids swim? I say the exact phrase. I don't know. I don't know if I want them
do you
to.
want to go first or should I go?
I'll give my answer that I give everybody is I know too much about the sport. I know way too damn much about the sport. And if I put my kid
Let
in
me
swimming,
teach you how to be ignorant, Sean, about swimming.
this is where I'm struggling to maybe not put my kids in. It's I know too much about the sport and I know different coaches. For me to know that my kid is swimming with a dumbass coach
Mhm.
would kill me. That would
Oh,
kill me. Knowing like what the hell. And at the same time, I'm also a coach that doesn't want parent interference. So I understand that perspective. So I'm not going to go to the coach and say, hey, you need to do this instead because I don't want to be that parent.
yeah.
But at the same time, if he's doing some dumb thing, it's going to kill me inside, you know? So I almost want to put him in a sport that I don't understand or I already highly respect whoever the coach is and I do that. Or I would just end up having to coach my kids, which I'm not sure I want to do because like priority number one, I just want to be dad. I
Mm,
just want to be appa to them.
a lot of that was a really good kind of filter of things. And it wasn't just like, because I hate swimming and there's no value. It wasn't even that. You had layers
No,
to it,
I love
right?
swimming. And I think it would be really cool if Rylan and Emmy swam. But in order for them to do that, I'm going to have to watch them swim under other people who might not be as great. Because I see the layer. You know, we always say there's levels to this. There's levels to coaching,
Mm-hmm.
you know? There's the entry level coach. There's the, you know, the coach that has been coaching for 30 years, but is actually not that great, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's levels to this. And it would kill me if I put the coach in a situation or I put my kids in a situation where they're swimming with a terrible coach.
Yeah.
Do we need to take a break, Sid? All right, we're gonna cut for some tech stuff real fast. All right, we're back. I forget where we were.
Hot take.
Hot take.
I
Oh,
don't think,
swimming. What's your take?
well, help me answer my point of view. Why do you think I would want my kids to do basketball?
Because you love basketball.
I love basketball. Anything else?
You want to live through them vicariously.
Yeah, I want my kids to make it in the NBA. There's a lot of layers to it.
Okay.
Okay. So with basketball, typically AAU indoors. Those basketball games, you're in and out maybe an hour 15, maybe, right? So it's a high engaging sport for an hour 15. Sure, timeouts, free throws, whatever. That's part of the game.
But you're not spending 4 days at a prelims and finals meet.
How long is prelims? How long is finals in swimming?
Hours.
Just
I think though USA Swimming came up with this new block party concept. Have you heard about that?
Oh yeah, that's kind of
You're
like,
in and out in like 2 hours.
yeah.
And there's just more frequent meets with less swimmers at the meet.
So I was gonna wrap this in going into kind of like the business model of USA Swimming and revenue generating vehicles for club teams, right? Thomas and I, as swimwear, we talk about this all the time. We're trying to build an app because again, one of my core business philosophies is that everyone gets to eat. We really believe in revenue share. So what does that mean? Any partner, thought partner, if we create a Swim Warrior S1 league and collaborate with you guys, that club team that hosts get a share of the
Piece of
pie,
the pie, yeah.
piece of the pie. So that needs to happen. The block party is actually a genius idea, right? Because I think I heard from a club team the other day of like how much they made. It's more so than a regular
Really?
um,
More than a regular meet?
but like all things considered for time
Oh,
versus
dollars per hour.
dollars per
Yeah.
hour. Yeah. And so it's more efficient meet. Think about coaching. Coaching for 4 days straight. Prelims is about an average 3 to 4 hours. Finals is about 2.5 to 3 hours.
More than that sometimes.
Yeah, Sid's like this. Like, yeah, 100%,
Yeah.
100%.
And
It's
it's
longer.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or sometimes it's Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah, and if you're hosting, you're on cleanup duty.
You're on cleanup
Now
duty.
imagine being in and out 2.5 hours, right?
That'd be great.
You typically have the equipment to do so, anyways. Now, if you don't have the equipment and you don't have the funds to have the Colorado timing systems, there has to be an easier way to do block parties as well, with no scoreboard, right? That's something we're trying to figure out with our stopwatch feature. Can we just do it through the app?
Talk to me about Swim Warrior.
Swim Warrior, we've been around. Thomas actually created it as a kind of a thought idea back in 2017 out of necessity. After he graduated from the University of Chicago, he was a swimmer as well. He was part of the 2015 4 free relay that won it for Chicago. And so faster sprinter than me. He went like 19.2.
Dang.
No underwater kicks whatsoever. It just pops up by the flags, right? So Thomas Meek, he gets to Tucson and they're like, hey, we need a head coach. Imagine 22, 23 years old. He's a head coach of a swim team. So out of necessity, he's like, man, there's a big problem that we have. And it's keeping kids engaged, right? He's a big fan of Rocket League. And with Rocket League, there's a ranking structure. There's sort of like a level up. And he told me, and I like to this day, I don't believe him, but he's like, man, there was one time where I leveled up to like the platinum level. And it's like the same feeling I got when I won that 4 free relay at NCAAs. I'm like, whoa, there's something there. Right. So Swim Warrior, we're a progress tracking tool. We're a ranking tool. So as these kids get faster, it's a kind of a way for these kids to be engaged to their profile.
So you can gamify swimming, basically.
There we go. I was just going to say we're a gamification tool. But when I lead with we're an app, we're a software, or a gamification tool, some people are like, what does that mean?
Right.
So I think our money maker, right, if you look at the app itself right now, is our stopwatch feature. So think about the amount of times of coaches, they're on, they have this high quality test set where they're doing 450s off the block. And I bring up Logan Herka every single time I bring up the stopwatch features, because Logan back in ASU, he would run around right every time down. Remember when we do like 3 races off the blocks on Wednesdays? 50, 60 swimmers at ASU, writes the time down manually. I go over to the weight room across the street. I go take care of my shoulder. By the time I get back, do you know what he's still doing? He's manually inputting into an Excel spreadsheet. Have you personally have ever seen the Excel spreadsheet that
Logan used?
used?
Yeah.
You have, because why?
Because I was into it.
You were into it, but you also had to study.
Right.
I have personally never seen that. That's a problem too. Where is all the data going to? By the way, I've talked to a lot of coaches. A lot of swim coaches are nerds in the best way possible. They love data, but you got to share that in a very engaging way to the athlete, right? Common feedback I've been hearing. When I went to ASCA clinic a couple years back, we were about like 5 booths down from Tritonware. Those guys are awesome, right? But what are the coaches saying? The feedback? Tritonware is too much information, too much data. It doesn't simplify it for a place that the athlete can really take and understand, right? And so we're trying to gamify the sport in a way that doesn't look like a gimmick, but in a way where these kids could be self-motivated. Because here's the thesis for us. If the traditional USA swimming pathway, I was a traditional USA swimming member. You were too. I started at the Junior Olympics, sectionals or zones, then sectionals, right? Junior nationals, nationals, Olympic trials. I did the whole step, right? So what does that mean? If I'm not going a best time, if I'm not breaking records, right? The reward system in swimming is
I see where
broken.
you're going with this. Yeah.
The reward system. If I'm not constantly getting better, I get left behind. I've coached a swimmer where his first lap in the pool was at 16 years old. And think about the improvements. Maybe he wants to swim in college. Maybe he wants to go to a random meet. We don't have a system for those kids. Isn't that a problem?
It's essentially what you're doing is you're saying that from like, say from sectionals to futures, the gap is too big. And so we need more mini feedback loops in between those so that the kids get rewarded for micro successes in between those. Is that what you're saying?
Now, instead of doing this with 2 meets, now think of it from 8 years old to 18 to 24, right? Like it doesn't have to end.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a constant feedback loop, like you're saying, at whatever age, whatever level, whatever type of coach, whether age group or college coach, you can still use the app in a way. Now, there's a couple different styles, right? I'm using this app as a way to kind of track my score. Like a kid would be very excited to see that. Now, why would the college swimmers really like this? Because they actually get to see the data. They get to just see the numbers on a nice little phone.
Patrick only went a 9.3. I went a 9.2.
Yeah,
like that.
It could be competitive like that,
Yeah.
but it's more so just self-tracking.
Yeah.
So,
What was your relationship with Bob like? I think you had compared to all the other teammates, you had a very interesting relationship with Bob.
yeah.
Why is that?
Can I answer your question about my least favorite
Sure.
workout?
As long as you tie it back.
Because I think the reason why I need to tell this story is because it's going to shape back into why we had a good relationship. Bob's one of those guys, whenever I'm back in Austin, which is maybe twice since I've last seen him in 2018, I'll shoot him a text. Hey, I'm in town. Love to see you. If not, no worries. So like clearly he's been a big part of my success at ASU, but it wasn't just up to the moon. It was rocky, right? We had to figure each other out. Now, have you seen that recent, I think, podcast with Bob? Actually, he explained that coaching Michael and coaching Leon have been totally different.
Yeah, I watched that podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when Bob first came in, he was under the Michael coaching, which it was East Coast personality. It was, if you combat me, I am going to go for your throat.
Yeah.
Or you better understand what the hell you're talking about if you're going to talk back to me, type of style. That was Bob. It's more so, we have a mission. I know what the mission entails. Do the workout, do the work, right? So here's the story. It was a Tuesday. This is winter training, actually. So it was Tuesday, and this was like my one of 2 workouts under Missy Hyman, right? This was the first one. It was a Tuesday long course practice, and it was just a simple, like, just do the workout on the paper, just get your yards in and go home. It was supposed to be a very easy day, okay? I'm doing the warm up. Let's just say it was a 400 freestyle, 200, IM, whatever. I think I stopped. I think we were supposed to use fins. I didn't use fins because, if I use fins right away, hurts the ankle a little bit. I was like, I don't need the fins, Bob. I'm just going to swim. He wasn't even coaching me. That's the funny thing. The guy wasn't even coaching me. He was supposed to be coaching down in like lane 6. I was in lane 3, right, with Misty. Completely different workout. He's like, why aren't you using fins? Start over. Okay. Now I'm doing the warm up again, start over, and then there was like 100 butterfly in there. I did drill.
Classic.
Right? Bob practically like gets me out. I was like, do it again. I redid that workout like maybe 5 or 6 times. because there was a certain point where it was like, screw you, man. So there was a point where I got out, I like ripped my cap and goggles. Oh, this is effing BS. This workout was supposed to just be this, and this. You're making this into a totally different thing. I'm effing out of here. I stormed to the locker room. I'm in the shower. And those ASU showers is kind of like a therapeutic massage because it's got the highest water pressure you'll ever feel. And I'm under it. I'm like, okay, all my teammates just saw that. I look like a jerk. I just cursed out our head coach. First of all, who am I in 2016, 2015 to curse out an Olympic head coach at the time?
You had some balls to do that.
Well, it didn't make sense at the time. So I was like, I disagree with this. I'm out of here. I find my broken cap and goggles at that point and put it back on and go back onto deck. And I tell him, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to do this workout as long as it takes. And I'm doing it perfectly right now. Last shot. And then I'm going to finish in the back pool. And I was like, okay. Did everything all over. By the time I was done, I had to do the last set. It was about 10 300s in the back pool. I had to do it yards because the pro team got in. And for NCAA purposes, college athlete couldn't swim with the pros in the same pool. So I was in the back pool. And we can ask Tebow about this. Tebow was my ride home. And he knew the whole story of what was going on. If you did the math, I did about 12,000 yards that day. Meters / yards. Yeah, that day. I was broken. Absolutely broken. And the 10 300s, I'm pretty sure it was, you had to like build up and you had to go pretty fast at the end. So after that, showered, went home. Bob was coaching the pro team at that point. Just kind of left. We didn't talk. The story doesn't really, it gets to the interesting part the very next day. So I just swam 12,000. I called Peter and I was like, hey, bro, I'm absolutely broken. And I know what's coming tomorrow. It's a morning practice. It's a Wednesday morning and we're in Hell Week. This is the quality test set day, right? It's been building up to this. That's why we're supposed to have this easy practice, but everyone had the easy practice because, everyone's smart enough to do the workout. I was the jerk that didn't. I swam 12,000 yards for some kind of learning reason. And the next practice is 10 100s, right? And so I told Pierre all this. Like, I know the main set and I know what I have to do to be successful at this practice. And I'm going to go in there. Everyone's going to think that, oh, you did 12,000 yards, your body's broken, you're not going to be able to compete. I know everyone was thinking that. Or maybe I had to create the story that everyone's thinking that. So I was like, hell no. First time in my life, I'm like rolling out, I'm stretching.
You're actually doing what you're supposed to.
Yeah, I'm doing what you're supposed to. And I walk in there, I'm like, I'm not going to let anyone beat me today. It's 10 100s, descend 1 to 3, hold, right? 3 to 10, freestyle. It was on maybe 3-4 minutes. And Bob is such a sicko because, he does 3 to 4 minutes strategically because that's when the lactic acid builds.
Right. Yeah.
And so we dialed in. I think it was I think we went like 52, like 50. And then I think we dropped the hammer. I remember on average, we're about 47, 46s off a push. Yeah. Maybe a sprinkle 45 in there, but off a push. Now, that had to take a lot out of me. I think I lost maybe like 2 months out of my life. the mental energy and the physical energy to get that done. But really what happened after that set was, because Bob knew everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew how hard I had to work. He does the big bro,
arm over the shoulder.
And he's like, listen, I know. That's all you have to say. I know. It wasn't, I know, good work. I know, good job. It's just
I see you.
I know. And he does the same thing you're doing now. He just does the head nod. And I'm like, yep.
And that was the start of your relationship.
I would say it was really rocky, and that was the breaking point.
And it got smooth after that.
And after that, it was kind of like, okay, we're dialed in.
There was an understanding and mutual respect.
Mm-hmm. We had meetings before practices at times, talk about the team, talk about the workout, talk about progression. You know, that's when he kind of gave that famous like trickle down conversation. Even after 2018, we had this. I scheduled this dinner with all the freshmen. So my senior year, the freshmen of that year, and I had this yellow notepad and I cooked dinner for all the freshmen, and I want to write down like their thoughts, their ideas, like how do we improve this team? Because I looked at this table, I was like, guys, you're the next generation. I need to know, and I have a meeting with Bob in a day or so. I want to write down like your feedback. I could talk to the sophomores and the juniors, but you're the future. So I want to talk to you guys. Wrote those things down. Had a really good conversation with Bob. One of my last meetings before graduating.
How was that?
It was good. If anything, it was the first time Bob as a coach and Bob as sort of a friend mentor is completely different. That day he was a friend mentor.
Right? What's that Bob like?
He's just a good guy, period. He cares a lot. The very first thing, and when I sat down, is he kind of shakes his head and like, it's like, Pat, I think I could have done more. Like, and it was almost to the point where I was like, Bob, what do you mean? Like, you've done everything for us. You remember that year in 2018, we tapered like 3 times in a row, right? And we were burnt. We were fried of racing. But we had to do it. We had to send guys to NCAAs. And I know certain guys have some bad memories for it, but at the time it was a necessity. But he looked at it like, man, we could have been so much better. Like, I'm sorry. Like, he's apologizing to me. I'm like, Bob, no, stop, man. Like, you've done so much for me in my life. That was the right play. And, you know, that's what we needed to do. And think about that feeling. He will never say that out loud when you're coaching athletes on deck. But behind closed doors, when you're doing that, you know, friend to mentor type of talks, he's going to put his heart on the table. He's got the biggest heart. Yeah. So that's kind of really what I saw in him.
That's really cool. Yeah. I never really got to see that side of Bob. I only saw the coach Bob when I was there.
Yeah.
Can you leave us a question for the next guest? We don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah. Oh, you know, why do you do what you do? What's your why? What's your purpose?
What's yours?
Well, I kind of answered it in the first like 5 minutes there with Dan Kessler walking outside that Shark Tank. And, you know, I want you to be the difference maker, right? I want to be a person where I want to make a positive influence. I want to be that difference maker.
Beautiful. Where can people find you? Can we plug Swim Warrior? Plug your payment processor?
Yeah, you can plug in Swim Warrior, Aladdin Processing. Longevity is the med tech startup, and yeah, like Instagram.
So Swim Warrior, swim gamification associated with any of these. So I'm just doing this, you know, to shout out his companies. Aladdin Processing is basically a payment processor, point of sale, right? POS. You do that, right? POS.
Yeah, pretty much. We're kind of a middleman behind the scenes, but
think like Stripe. If you know of any, you know, liquor stores, nail salons, if you know business owners, they're probably getting ripped off in payment processing. Talk to Pat; he's your guy. He'll hook you up. Again, ASP has no affiliation whatsoever. In fact, we just found out we can't even use his payment processor because ours is integrated with Stripe. Anyways, and then you also have MedTech.
Yeah, it's called longevity. Yeah.
Perfect. All right, Pat. Thanks for being on the show.
All right, brother.
Have a safe drive back to Phoenix.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.